Tavayam Ramamanasya Kamakasmalasetushaha Janardam Eva Rajendra Vyatikrantam Navam Vayaha. Taya, with her, evam, in this way, Rama Manasya, enjoying kama, full of lust, kasmala, sinful, setushaha, his heart, chana ardam, in half a moment, eva, like Raja Indra, O King, Vyatikrantam, expired, Vayam, new, Vayaha, life. My dear King Prachinibhai said, and this way King Puranjan, with his heart full of lust and sinful reaction, began to enjoy sex life, began to enjoy sex with his wife, and this way his new life and youth expired in half a moment. Please respond, my dear King Parichinabhai son. And this way, King Puranjana, with his heart full of lust and sinful reaction, began to enjoy sex with his wife, and this way his new life and youth expired in half a moment. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Govinda Das Thakur has sung, Edana Yaubana Putra Parijana Iti ke aache para iti re Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala Bhaja Haripada Niti re. And this verse, Srila Govinda Das says that actually there is no bliss in the enjoyment of youthful life. In youth, a person becomes very lusty to enjoy all kinds of sense objects. The sense objects are form, taste, smell, touch and sound. The modern scientific method or advancement of scientific civilization encourages the enjoyment of these five senses. The younger generation is very pleased to see a beautiful form, to hear radio messages of material news and sense gratificatory songs, to smell nice scents, nice flowers, and to touch the soft body or breasts of a young woman and gradually touch the sex organs. All of this is also very pleasing to the animals. Therefore, in human society, there are restrictions in the enjoyment of the five senses. If one does not follow, he becomes exactly like an animal. Thus in this verse it is specifically stated, Kama Kasmala Setushaha, the consciousness of a King Puranjan was polluted by lusty desires and sinful activities. In the previous verse, it is stated that Puranjan, although advanced in consciousness, lay down on this very soft bed with his wife. This indicates that he indulged too much in sex. The words Navam Vayaha are also significant in this verse. They indicate the period of youth from age 16 to 30. These 13 or 15 years of life are years in which one can very strongly enjoy the senses. When one comes to this age, he thinks that life will go on and that he will simply continue enjoying his senses. But time and tide wait for no man. The span of youth expires very quickly. One who wastes his life simply by committing sinful activities in youth immediately becomes disappointed and disillusioned when the brief period of youth is over. The material enjoyment of youth are especially pleasing to a person who has no spiritual training. If one is trained only according to the bodily conception of life, he simply leads a disappointed life which curses bodily sense enjoyment, finishes within 40 years or so. After 40 years, one simply leads a disillusioned life because he has no spiritual knowledge. For such a person, the expiration of youth occurs in half a moment. Thus, King Puranjan's pleasure, which he took in lying down with his wife, expired very quickly. Kama Kasmala Setusha also indicates that unrestricted sense enjoyment is not allowed in the human form of life by the laws of nature. If one enjoys his senses unrestrictedly, he leads a sinful life. The animals do not violate the laws of nature. For example, the sex impulse in animal is very strong during certain months of the year. The lion is very powerful, he is a flesh eater and is very strong, but he enjoys sex only once in a year. Similarly, according to religious injunction, a man is restricted to enjoy sex life only once in a month after the menstrual period of the wife, and if the wife is pregnant, is not allowed sex life at all. That is the law of human being. A man is allowed to keep more than one wife because he cannot enjoy sex when the wife is pregnant. If he wants to enjoy sex at such a time, he may go to another wife who is not pregnant. These are laws mentioned in the Manu Samhita and other scriptures. These laws and scriptures are meant for human beings. As such, if one violates this law, he becomes sinful. The conclusion is that unrestricted sense enjoyment means sinful activities. Illicit sex is sex that violates the laws given in the scriptures. When one violates the laws of the scriptures or the Vedas, he commits sinful activities. One who is engaged in sinful activities cannot change his consciousness. Our real function is to change our consciousness from Kasmala, sinful consciousness, to Krishna, the Supreme Pure. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Krishna is the Supreme Pure, and if we change our consciousness from material enjoyment to Krishna, we become purified. This is the process recommended by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the process of Seto Darpana Majanam, cleansing the mirror of the heart. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Gnanam Gna Shalakaya Chakshudan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamam Dadati Swaparandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvitam Shavadutam Parajanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishnapadam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakancha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shavanu Shuta Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namarom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Samiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you very much for joining in for our Saturday Bhagavatam class, Srimad Bhagavatam 4.27.5. So here you can see that King Prachini Bhaisat, he behaved, very much attached to sense gratification. So he was enjoying sex life with his wife indiscriminately. So therefore he became implicated. The word here is kama kalmasha. Prabhupada used it many times in the purport. So here Prabhupada is starting off the purport by quoting this song, Edana yaubana putra parijana itike ache paraiti re kamala dala jala jivana talamala bajahum hari pada niti re. So in the translation it is said that your wealth, your youth, everything is tottering on a leaf, kamala dhala jala, that you have played as a little boy, right? You take the leaf, right? You put some water drop and you try to balance it, correct? Usually it runs down. Have you done that? Especially a lotus leaf. It's very shiny and waxy, and you try to put a drop of water there, it doesn't stay, it totters and it usually slips out. So our life is like that. So every moment is very short, and this is explained here. So here I can see that Prahlad Maharaj is speaking how we are wasting our time. Pumsam varsha satam ya ayustad ardham cha jitayatmanaha nispalam yadasa ratriyam sete andam prapitas tamaha. Every human being has a maximum duration of life of 100 years. But for one who cannot control his senses, half of those years are completely lost because at night he sleeps 12 hours being covered by ignorance. And therefore, such a person has a lifetime of only 50 years. Right? Half is wasted in doing what? Huh? What? Sleeping. Correct? See? And then Mugdasya bhalye kaishore kridato yate vimshatihi kara jaraya grasta dehasya yate akalpasya vimshatihi. In the tender age of childhood, when everyone is bewildered, one passes 10 years. So as a baby, 10 years is gone. Right? Bewildered. Similarly, in boyhood, engage in sporting and playing, one passes another 10 years. So 10 years bewildered, eating, and then another 10 years in playing. So 20 years is gone. And this way 20 years are wasted. Similarly, in old age, when one is invalid, unable to perform even material activities, one passes another 20 years wastefully. So how many years is left? 50 years. 20 is wasted in boyhood, childhood and all that. Another 20 years is wasted as old man. Correct? How many years is left? 10 years only left. And 10 years also wasted in sex life. So what is left? See that? Yes? One whose mind and senses are uncontrolled become increasingly attached to family life because of insatiable, lusty desires and very strong illusion. In such a madman's life, the remaining years are also wasted because even during those years he cannot engage himself in devotional service. See that? So that years is also wasted. Yeah. So you see how the whole breakdown So here now the part of King Puranjan in the youthful life, as Prabhupada said, from 16 to 30 years, 10, 15 years. Completely wasted in the arms of enjoying in sense gratification, lust. Now why this lust is so much condemned? Can you explain to me why? Homework now. Can you tell me why lust is overpowering and is very sinful? Let's go from Bhagavad Gita first. From Bhagavad Gita, then we will go. So you let me know now, rather than me speaking all the time, let us hear from you. 3.40. 3.40? Huh? 3.40. Very good. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking. The senses, the mind and intelligence are the sitting place of this lust. Through them lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Bhagavad Gita. Actually from 37 to I think 40, next verse is more important. Therefore Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning curbed this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So it's very important. So when you get lusty, you will lose you become bewildered and you will lose your intelligence, no knowledge. And whatever self-realization you have also is covered. Like Krishna is saying, right? So you can understand how detrimental sex life is. Sex life is the cause of many problems. Thus the wise living entity's pure consciousness become covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Again, Krishna is saying, you cannot join Sri Radha. Lust cannot be satisfied and it burns like fire. Yeah? You follow? So Krishna is saying, one more verse up here, 38. Krishna is saying our different degrees of lust. So anyway, this is more important here. So here in these verses of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is defining lust in this manner. So if you get into lust, you lose your knowledge, your self-realization is finished and you become bewildered, you become implicated by sinful activities and you cannot come out of it so easily. Yes? This is Bhagavad Gita, Krishna. Right? So now in the Bhagavatam, what is there in the Bhagavatam about lust? what? I don't want to say the word now. Humiliating. No more Pandit Reddy. He gave up the title. No more. Okay. We're going to. Let's start with the first canto, second canto, like this. First canto, any verse? 1, 2 something, no? Right? One should not use 1 to 10. Let's go. Okay, just before this we go to 1 to 9. All occupational engagement are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to the sages, one who is engaged in ultimate occupation service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. That understand? And then here in this verse, Kamasya Nendriya Priti Labho Jiveta Yavataha Jivasya Tattva Jikyasa Narto Cheha Karma Bihi. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. Kamasya ne, is it the word here? Kamasya nendriya priti. You should not engage your senses in sense gratification. Understand? What else? Then we will go now to second canto. Srotra Vidini Rajendra. What is that? 2-1? 2-1-2. Yeah, in this verse you see, Sotra Vidini Rajendra Nirnam Shanti Shahashrusha Apashyantam Atmatattvam Grahashu Grahamedinam. Those persons who are materially engrossed, been blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. So anyone who is into this lust, he will be very much attracted to hearing a lot of, he will not be interested in hearing about Krishna consciousness. Then it says in the next verse, see all these verses are linked up. The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night either in sleeping or in sex indulgence, and in daytime either in making money or maintaining family members. This is the only business. His business is what? Nighttime sleeping or sex life. And daytime how to get money, how to get money, how to get money, that's all. For what? Enjoying family maintenance. Correct? Yes? And what happens? You see in the next verse, it all goes systematically. Person devoid of Atma Tattva, that means is very lusty, do not inquire into the problems of life, been too attached to fallible soldiers like his body, family, children, wife, although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see the inevitable destruction. They cannot understand. Wasting his time. They cannot understand. Tomorrow he is going to die, he is going to get into body of, so many degraded body. He don't care. Well, he is attached, he thinks his family members will save him. Can you see how lust is bringing one to, right? Then where after this? Third canto. Third canto. Anything in third canto? Huh? Devahuti is saying, although I have such a powerful husband, but instead of inquiring from him spiritually, because of lust, I became bewildered. I wasted so much time. And now he is leaving and going to the forest. You see how? The husband is a pure devotee. Kadamba Muni, no ordinary person, very pure, powerful sage. And she got this association, but she wasted. She is saying like that. You know the verse? 3 what? 3:23. 23 what? 53. See, she is saying like this. Look. Until now we simply wasted so much of our time in sense gratification, neglecting to cultivate knowledge of the Supreme Lord. See how dangerous this association, sex life. Not knowing your transcendental situation, I have loved you while remaining attached to objects of the senses. Nonetheless, let that affinity I have developed for you rid me of all fear. She said in the next verse. Association for sense gratification is certainly the part of bondage. But the same type of association performed with saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. You see, she is saying, you see, you understand? If you come in contact with the devotee, then only this whole episode can be awakened in the heart. Sex life is very, very contaminating. Right? This is the verse. Neha yad karma dharmaya, this is saying this. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performance do not raise him to renunciation, anyone situated in renunciation does not lead him to devotional service, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead although he is breathing. In other words, if simply lives like an animal, he lives like an animal, then what is the use of his life? If he got this human life and if he is living like an animal, then what's the use? Animals are interested only in this thing. What? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. I think we covered that in our last class, correct? Ahara nidram bhayamaituna samanyam pasubir. The word is what? Pasubhi, animal. Animals are interested in these things. If a human being does this thing, then he is no better than a. That's why he call him what? Dvipada, two-legged Pasu. Right? So you can see here how the consequence. My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insondable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. See how she is lamenting. So, spiritual life is the most important thing. See, in this family thing, family life is so very much contaminating because lust will only bring about what? Attachment. Attachment brings about what? Egos. Krishna explained, no? 262, 63 Bhagavad Gita. Lust leads to what? Anger. Anger leads to bewilderment of memory, correct? And then what happened? One fall down. Yes? Krishna also said the same thing again in the 11th canto. He says you go into this direction, then you get quarreling. Correct? And in this verse you see here is explained, not only that you get into quarreling, fighting, all these bad qualities. What is that verse? 331, is it? Woman, you lose all the qualities. 331? 42. 33. 33. The woman memorizes this very well. What? Satyam, what is Satyam? Sauchyam, Daya, Maunam, Buddhi, Sri, opulence, Rihi, what is Rihi? Yashyaha, Chama, Samodamo Bhaga Cheti, Yat Sangat, Yati Sankshayam. Sankshayam means what? Sankshayam. Destroyed. Is that?
Shayam means destruction. Sankshayam means completely destroyed.
Completely destroyed. Sang means fully. See, when we cannot go here first, we must go somewhere else. How? Why? We must know something more. Correct? Oh, this is not the verse. We'll go. What is destroyed? Let's find out. This verse says, he becomes devoid of truthfulness, he becomes devoid of cleanliness, mercy, gravity, spiritual intelligence, shyness, austerity, fame, forgiveness, control of the mind, control of the senses, fortune, all such opportunities. Why he become devoid of all these things? What? Why? He says here, one should not, the moment one should not associate with the cause fool who is bereft of the knowledge of self-realization and who is no more than a dancing dog in the hands of a woman. In other words, if we associate with women or people who are addicted to, who are under the control of a woman. If you associate with such person, then you will be bereft of all these bad qualities. I mean, these transcendental qualities like truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, all will be finished. Sanchayam. Sanchayam means what? Completely destroyed. You understand? So you see, lust is bringing about what? Now we are hearing, no? What Krishna says, no? Bewilderment, what is it? You get into sinful life, what else he says? We recap, what is it? You be out of knowledge, you have no more self-realization, spiritually you're dead, correct? Yes? Yes or not? And now here, all your good qualities are gone. Yeah, you see, it's so captivating. You know, once you get into this connection, spiritually you become. No, they are promoting this TikTok, you know. And in this TikTok, why is so popular? Because sex life is there, so much sex life. 1 minute sex life videos, huh? Yeah, it's practically just one step to pornography. Correct? Now the whole thing is based on what? This sex life. You can see how detrimental it is. You have practically become an animal. Correct? You become what? An animal. You lose all your vitality, your good quality, everything is gone. You follow? It is. You are bereft. Actually, it says in another place that if you get into this kind of consciousness, then even the demigods, if you offer food to the demigod, even they will not accept from. The demigods also will not accept your offering. Don't speak about. This is coming from Manu Samhita. This is verse. You see how no good qualities. Only you amass bad qualities. Bad qualities. I have explained last week, correct? Now we finished third canto. We'll go to the fourth canto. Third canto ka samo pretty much finished. Correct? And you go like that, Kapila will say, then you will go to hell, and then again you come back, and then you will start again. From where? As the president of the country. As what? The lowest position. Climb up again. Slowly, again. No more consciousness. Become, fish, bird, tree, like this you climbing. Yes. You understand? It's very painful. Very, very painful. So in the fourth canto, fourth canto is what? What for? What? No, we will go from, fourth canto, first chapter, second chapter, nothing there? What? Fourth canto, first chapter, all telling you have sex life. What is there in the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 until you come to 22? What? Yes? Correct. 4, 1 is what? What is 4, 1? Dr. Manu genealogical thing. Oh, Manu, then Dhruva Maharaj came, no? Correct? And Dhruva Maharaj came, After Dhruva Maharaj, right? What is after the Dhruva Maharaj? And Prithu Maharaj. After Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj. Huh? Oh. Dhruva Maharaj story, he didn't preach much. So what is the use of this? He went searching for broken glasses, he got the valuable jewels, correct? Huh? Actually, in the fourth canto, there is this story about Sati. Yes? And how anger became, this Daksha was so much involved in sex life that he became very offensive to Lord Shiva. Yes or not? So you see how by sex life, Daksha means what? Expert. Expert in what? Huh? He is expert in producing children. That's why he is called Daksha, expert, sex life. One time he had how many children? 10,000 sons. Then Narada delivered them. Then he had how much? 1,000 again. Narada again delivered them. Then this time he was more clever. He only got about 100 women, children, daughters. Narada will not go near them, no? You understand? See, so how in that chapter you can see how Daksha he became bewildered because of his so much of material what? Opulence. He dared to find fault with who? First is Lord Shiva. Correct? See how detrimental lust is. Lust makes you think, we discussed, the platform of what? Me and. The moment you get into this, what? Pumsam Sri Maituna Etat, correct? Janasya Moha Hayam, Aham, me and my, I'm greater, you are less, all this quarreling, fighting, fault. These are all byproducts of this lusty consciousness. So much so that Lord Shiva was sitting very quietly and he was finding fault with him. Correct? Lust. He became angry, cursed, and as the consequence, Lord Shiva cut his head off. Correct? See how dangerous it is that when you become lusty, you will also become fault finding. And you will also be blasphemer. You commit a lot of Vaishnava aparats. This is another thing. What Sati will be saying, my Lord Shiva is benevolent, he has no, enemies, and you are finding fault with him. How you understand? You can take that verse out. For what? 12, I think. No, for. 4. Sati continued, my dear father, you are committing the greatest offense by envying Lord Shiva, whose very name consists of 2 syllables, Shi and Va, purifies one of all sinful activities. His order is never neglected. Lord Shiva is always pure, and no one but you envy him. You see this? See how dangerous Jai Sri Radha. Lord Shiva is not an ordinary personality. He is what? An expansion of the Lord. Of course, Daksha Prajapati is also an expansion in a sense of producing children, Prajapati. But Lord Shiva's position is higher. He is not in the Jiva Tattva platform. You see how Daksha became conditioned. You understand? So you see, very dangerous. This lust is, it doesn't bring about any good thing in the heart. That's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, you curb this enemy, the all-pervading sinful enemy in the form of what? Lust. So that is in the chapter 4. And Dhruva Maharaj's father, he became so attached to his wife, correct? And he also offended that little boy, correct? Yes? So all these examples, how a person can fall down. What else next? After this episode, it is what? Dhruva Maharaj. After Dhruva Maharaj? Rishabdev. Rishabdev, 5th canto. Who is that? Then Prithu Maharaj, correct? I showed the verses. When you try to enjoy lust, what is that? 422? 422 what? 422? 422, 22. 28. When the soul exists for sense gratification, it creates different desires, and for that reason it becomes subject to destination. See? Again, the same point. It becomes involved in me and mine. Destination means what? Oh, I've got position. They ask, what you working as? Oh, you clerk. Oh, I am IT engineer, Prabhu. Bigger class, you what? Clerk. See, this is how they evaluate a person. Understand? Oh, they ask your caste. What caste, Oh, you are lower caste. I am higher caste. See? That's how this goes. But when one is in a transcendental position, he is no longer interested in anything except fulfilling the desires of the Lord. I think this verse is preceding, no? 30. Here in this verse, when one's mind and senses are attracted to sense object for enjoyment, the mind becomes agitated. As a result of continually thinking of sense object, one real consciousness almost becomes lost, like the water in a lake that is gradually sucked up by the big grass straws on its bank. So once you go into this consciousness of lust, then all your vitality, spiritual position is all been sucked up, Then you see the next verse is very important. When one deviates from his original consciousness, he loses the capacity to remember his previous position or recognize his present one. That means what? He don't know. Completely lost. Right? When remembrance is lost, all knowledge acquired is on false foundation. When this occurs, learned scholars consider the soul is lost. Finish. This is the result of lust. You understand? See how detrimental it is. And of course, now we are coming to the story of Puranjan. Puranjan what? Whole story is about fall down. Yes, next life, Puranjan will become a woman. Fortunately, she marries a devotee. And because she got married to a devotee, then she went back to Godhead with him. Then the story goes on. But it is explained in 4:29. 4:29 is a very important chapter. You know, how this captivating principle. I'll take you to some verses. Let me just show you. Before we go to another very important canto, 5th canto. I don't think this class will be going on, the whole Bhagavatam. Huh? Maybe we have to continue. You can see here what happens. My dear king, please search out that deer who is engaged in eating grass in a nice flower garden along with his wife. That deer is very much attached to his business and enjoying the sweet singing of the bumblebees in his garden. Just try to understand his position. He is unaware that before him is a tiger which is accustomed to living at the cost of another's flesh. Behind the deer is a hunter who is threatening to pierce him with sharp arrows. Thus the deer's death is imminent. But he is thinking, is very much comfortable with his wife's presence. You understand? Yeah? The next verse. My dear king, woman who is very attractive in the beginning but in the end very disturbing is exactly like the flower, which is attractive in the beginning and detestable at the end. With women, the living entity is entangled with lusty desires and he enjoys sex. Just as one enjoys the aroma of flower, he thus enjoys life of sense gratification from his tongue to his genitals. On this way, the living entity considers himself very happy in family life. United with his wife, he always remains absorbed in such thought. He feels great pleasure in hearing the talk of his wife and children, which are like the sweet humming of bumblebees that collect honey from flower to flower. He forgets that before him is time, which is taking away his lifespan, and with the passing of day and night, he does not see the gradual diminishing of his life, nor does he care about the superintendent of that who is trying to kill him from behind. Just try to understand this. You are in a precarious position and are threatened from all sides. This is the result of lust. Very, very, very what? Understand? This is not very nice, because the moment you get involved, then you become bewildered and you lose all your, everything is diminished. Can you go? Of course, you got 4:30. A person who is interested in this, as I have already explained, he will be an offender to the devotees, and he will not be interested in worshipping Lord. For 4:31, I think 4:31 is the last, correct? I don't think there's 4:32, only 4:31. Yes? And then you come to the 5th canto. 5th canto is explaining the sex life in a very elaborate way. I don't know if you have read. How many of you have read 5th canto? Nobody? Nobody have read? Oh. Anyway, 5th canto, then 6th canto, then 7th canto, 8th canto, 9th canto, 10th canto, 11th canto and 12th. At which canto there is a place where it says sex life is allowed? Huh?
4th canto and 11th canto. Puranjana and Pururava talking also.
Puranjana is talking about sex life.
And Pururava also.
About sex life. Not only him, Kasyapa Muni also. He is also talking. Understand? But then he realized after that.
What if somebody quotes that shloka from Bhagavatam and say, see, Bhagavatam shloka says sex life?
Yes, no problem. You can follow that. I have no objection. You become a dancing dog, can lose all your brains. There's no problem. You can always come back as a dog anyway. What's the problem? Huh? Yes? You understand? You cannot find a verse that supports sense gratification, because sense gratification is against Krishna consciousness. It does not like oil and water. You cannot mix it. And if you go away from the Lord, you will lose all your spiritual strength. Right? Does he say that when... Huh?
4:25.
Yeah, this is Puranjan story, I know. Puranjan is then been told in 4:29. Puranjan, you're telling, why my teachers never told me all these things that you are telling me? You know why they have misled me into karma kanda thing. Puranjan himself will tell after hearing all these things. You understand? So we have to be hearing the full story. We don't hear only one part where he says, yeah, sex life is very, very nice. Correct? You must hear the full thing. So therefore, of course I can go on. I'm not finished. I'm only on the 4th canto, I mean, you can see how this has to be curbed. That's why Rishabdev says, when you have got this human life, tapo divyam putraka hayena. So the whole purpose of human life is to first start as brahmachari. Brahmachari gurukule, vasandatam guruhitam. So in that verse, Prabhupada explained, the real purpose of training a brahmachari is to make him celebrate. Why is he trained like that? Because he should be taught the dangers of what? Sex life. Nowadays that is not taught at all. Yes? And that is all being promoted. And they are passing out what? Condoms. Instead of teaching people the danger of this thing, they are giving what? Free condoms. Can you imagine that? As long as they prevent pregnancy, then it's alright. They think like that. But if you do sinful activities, then you become sinful. When you become sinful, then what's the use of you living? Right? Sinful life, I showed that verse many times, right? 11, 10, 27, 29. Correct? A person who is sinful will go down to where? To hell. So this is not worth the thing. And not only that, by having sinful, when you have relationship, not in according to scriptures, then the children produced will be all what? Unwanted progeny. And by producing unwanted progeny, family, generation, everything is destroyed. The whole world becomes what? Like now. You see, on the verge of what? Calamity, war. What good news you hear? The demigods are coming down and showing flowers, and wow, coronavirus is what? You hear nothing but no good news. Either it's an earthquake or a flood or a drought or a war or everything becomes restricted. But when you become spiritually strong by practicing austerity, then you get spiritual powers. When you learn how to keep the Lord in your heart, then you get what? Wherever there's Krishna and Arjuna, what is that word? Wherever there's Krishna and Arjuna, there always will be what? Certainly be what? Shriyo, Vijayo, Buddhi. Opulence, extraordinary power, all morality. But when you derive of the Lord, then what you get? Correct? If you want to become powerful, just now you read, no, the verse, you see, what is that? 6, 7, just now we read. 7, 6, what is that? That age. Just now I showed you the age, half your life is gone. 50 years. 7, 6. 7, 6, 6. Not here. It says that if you control your senses, then you get the opulence as the Lord. I just saw the verse just now. I think it is if you control the senses, you get so much of a power, then you enjoy the opulence as good as the opulence of the Lord. Anyway, it is of prime importance that one practice austerity and unrestricted sense enjoyment is never supported in the Shastra. Of course, if one enters into that ashram having fully trained as a brahmachari, so therefore the whole ashram, Grahastha ashram becomes very much what? Sustainable. But if he lives like an animal, then the whole thing is destroyed. Alright, it's getting time. Any questions or comments? Huh? 7, 5:30. Yeah, this was because of their uncontrolled senses, person too addicted to materialistic life make progress toward hellish condition, repeatedly chewing that which is already chewed. The inclination towards Krishna never arose either by the instruction of others, by their own effort, or by combination of both. Of course, we have not come to this canto yet, because fifth canto itself is, so many verses supporting, not supporting sense gratification. So I guess we have to stop here and go to the other cantos. You can read up, you have time, you can see how it is very, very detrimental. If you try to enjoy the senses, you become like an animal. Do you understand? This is not supported at all. If we at all want to come out of problems, then we have to do only one thing, that we have to practice this austerity of chanting Krishna's name, following the principles, accepting the spiritual master, and going on with our life. Otherwise, it's going to be bad news. Alright, so I don't know, we have a whole verses on this.
In connection with youth, how can the youth be trained up in proper values of God consciousness follows later, but in proper values, because if for in case only the devotee children are brought up with the values, or either they have some realizations, so the children join up movement like Krishna consciousness. But otherwise, how they should be trained up in proper values so that at least they...
You cannot get any proper value if you don't take up devotional service. You cannot acquire these qualities in any other way. It's not possible. Understand? Unless you become Krishna consciousness, you cannot get these transcendental qualities. It's not possible. You cannot practice morally and become purified. That's not possible. You understand? There's a verse. In this verse, all the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge and renouncing become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activity has no good qualities. Even is adept in the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavoring of maintaining the family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculation and must be engaged in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good quality in such a man? You understand? That means if you don't become Krishna consciousness, you cannot have any good qualities. Not possible. Like that you can see, even what's his name? Ravana, Jarasandha. Jarasandha was very much favorable to the Brahmins. But because he was against Krishna, all his service to Brahmin also. You understand? So you must become a devotee. Then you will develop all the good qualities. Because all these good qualities are coming from who? You think Krishna will give you good qualities by going against him? Will he be such a fool, Krishna? Right? You understand? Ravana was very expert. He was expert in everything. But what is the use of his? There's another verse also. Kutto hara bhaktas, what is that verse? That 1:5, 1:5 what? One who has not engaged in devotional service, what good qualities? 1.5. Tyaktva swadharmam charan bhuje hare. 1.5.17. Huh? And this verse, you see, another verse. One who has forsaken his material occupation to engage in devotional service to the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of him being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duty, does not gain anything. Understand? The position of devotee is much, much higher. Non-devotee even is perfectly engaged, but it's useless. And actually you can see materially also, all these people who are highly materially qualified, you can see they always have got so many vices, is it not? Huh? No. What?
Spiritual people already have vices. Spiritual people already have vices. So many spiritual people also have vices.
So many?
So-called spiritual people also have vices.
Oh yes, they're so-called spiritual people. Huh? You understand? If the person is a pure devotee, then he cannot have any of these bad qualities. It's not possible. He cannot manifest in the heart. Right? Does that answer your question? So don't be fool, thinking that you can find a saint among the materialists. It's not possible. Alright, we stop here then. Sorry to hold you back so long. Because the subject is not finished. You can't finish the Bhagavatam in a few, in 1 hour or something. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.